Okay, so the first thing we are going to take a bit of a dive into is Blood Bowl 3, the beta version. I don't know, what's this? Is this the third time they've had the beta out now?
I think it's the third one now, yeah.
Yeah, the third time. And it's just out for 10 days, I think. And I have played a lot of it. Guys, have you tried out the beta?
Yeah, I've had it up and had a fair good old play with it.
How about you,
I
BT?
haven't. I haven't, but I spent enough time on the internet to know that I can just give my opinion anyway.
Yeah, Milton was going to join us today as well, but I believe he's asleep. So, no, he's I think parenting issues, not issues. That's not fair. Just not sleeping. I think is
just life.
Yeah, is a real thing. So I've got it up on the screen now, but right, initial impressions. I love the style. The execution of it, really well done. The menus are really nice. Most of it is reasonably intuitive. Like all the basic stuff is just good fun, right? Happy with that. And there's an online mode, and I've been playing online games against strangers, and it's actually been not particularly problematic. I guess this is a bit unstructured, but my initial impression is that I'm super impressed with it. What was your initial impression, Trips?
So I think my very initial impression was relief after the last couple of betas and demos or wherever we've been in the feedback, and I think I was just in that position of please let it be good. And it was just like, yeah, this is polished, this is good. And I think 10 minutes in, I was like, I just wish this wasn't the beta. I wish this was the release copy, because there's always going to be some issues, but it felt good enough to really just go, I want to crack into this and run a league, run a team, get it up and going.
Yeah, that's absolutely bang on. So I've got it up on the screen now because I'm just playing an AI game against the Renegades. I mean, where should we start when it comes to the feedback? BT, you play a lot of video games, and therefore you get to rage about a lot of video games. What was your first and most important thing when you were thinking about this game coming out?
With this game, I know kind of most of the issues we had on the previous ones were like from a UI point, right?
Yeah.
Where a lot of it was really unintuitive, and I saw some of that was fixed. I watched your video of you playing the game with your Renegades versus Dwarves.
That was a horrible game.
And I noticed like one of the first things that came up, you were just like, right, I'm gonna go and block that obvious guard. All of these guys have like guard and skills and stuff. It just wasn't like immediately obvious. Now I don't know if that's just because you're excited and rushing into the game. I didn't notice either.
That was honestly, that was because I expected everyone to have. I didn't realize that there would be people out there who had already leveled up their dwarves to have a bunch of guard and stand firm. I was like, I downloaded this straight away. I've been at a meeting for 45 minutes, and now there's guard spam already. Like, what the hell?
I mean, I thought this of Blood Bowl 2 as well. Like, I didn't play them extensively. But like a lot of the skill icons and stuff sometimes get a bit blurred. Like things look kind of the same. Like, stand firm and block kind of look fairly similar. It's that kind of stuff where it's just like
I think it was little things like where's Brawler? I was playing with Blood Bowl, I think the same as you, Ben. I was like, well, I know I've got it, but why can't I find the thing to click on? And once you realise, it says circle and it's there, and it feels like a game that's designed to play on a console, and you can also play on a PC. And once you get into that mindset, it all starts to come together a bit.
I feel like it's definitely engineered with like that way around.
That was Milton's point as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, I find it a little disappointing. Especially, I mean, I'd like to see the analytics for it, but I always felt like Blood Bowl 2 was primarily played on PC, so it's an interesting choice. I don't think Blood Bowl 2 was even that bad on console from what I heard.
Bad? No, it was great. Saxby binges games on PS4, I assume.
Yeah.
Do I go for it? I think I do go for it. All right, here we go. Yeah, go for it with the Minotaur. I've surfed two of
Does
their
Ben
players
go for
already.
it? Yeah.
Yeah. Should I play this like a Skaven coach? Yeah. You bang on. It's not perfect, right? Not by a long shot. And both the things you mentioned are exactly right. So it feels console-y, which, to be honest with you, I'm happy with. Like, I'm playing it on my laptop right now, and I'm having a great time. Like, this is fine. This is no problem at all. Yeah, because I'm powering these chaps down. And it's great. Now we've got OWA and Renegades, which absolutely swings it for me, because that's just they're teams that we haven't had a chance to really play a lot with. So getting them in the demo was probably a massive swing in the right direction, and potentially unnecessary. Like, but I just, let's compare it to Blood Bowl 2 though for a second. This is probably the feedback I'm hearing the most about the game, is it's not as good as Blood Bowl 2. It's not as seasoned as Blood Bowl 2. And I mean, when it comes to games and stuff like that, and when it comes to technology in general, because Ben, we were talking about a Kickstarter earlier, weren't we? Like, a game that's had a year or 2 years worth of DLC and updates, that's like, I feel like that's in its prime. And there's a lot of games, Warhammer Total War is probably the best example of this, where you just don't play it in the first 2 years that it's out, because it's just not great.
It's not polished. Yeah.
Well, I think the difference with Total War though is that the stuff you have is backwards compatible. Like, you can play like Total War 2 with the races and like the stuff you've unlocked for Total War. Sorry, yeah, with like Total War 1. Like, these things carry over.
That's fair. That's a fair
to
shot.
some degree, from what I remember, at least. I remember that happening with 2 from 1. So like, you unlock stuff in 1, you could play it in 2. Yeah. But I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean. This happens with MMOs all the time as well. So like, people play MMOs and then like Final Fantasy 11, for example. A lot of people played Final Fantasy 11 when 14 came out. A whole bunch of people were just like, well, I'm playing 11. Why do I want to go to 14? I mean, it didn't help that 14 was really rubbish when it launched, but like, yeah, that was that. Like, I know exactly what you mean. It's hard to move over, especially when they're only launching with how many races?
6.
In Blood Bowl 3?
Oh, when they're launching with 12, is it?
Yeah, I think they're launching with 12.
Still, though, if you're used to playing these races in Blood Bowl 2, and now in Blood Bowl 3 comes out, and you're going to have to buy all these DLCs again, I can see why people are a little bit concerned.
Right, 2 secs. I'm just going to try and surf this org. Oh, it's great fun. Right, I am playing against the AI right now, and the AI is terrible.
Is it?
It's spectacularly bad. You are rushing for a touchdown, and it's still putting someone at the opposing end zone, and you're like, well, that's really nice, but you don't have the ball, you can't throw it there, and you physically can't get it there. It's entertainingly bad, but it's never been great, so I'm not going to grumble about that.
Yeah, the Blood Bowl 2 AI was also pretty bad.
Yeah.
Just significantly questionable in every single way, I think, is probably the best way.
What they are really good for is learning the game.
Yeah.
I think learning the game against Blood Bowl video, like Blood Bowl 2 AI, is fantastic. I think the tutorial was really good.
The tutorial for this, really, really good as well.
Oh, that's good. That's really good, because I think that's such a great way to get people into playing the game.
I've blitzed already. That means my Minotaur's going to do absolutely nothing.
Even playing the tabletop game, I think, is a really good way. Like, people, especially if like they have free events, like if they do like free weekends or something, or regular sales. Blood Bowl 2 has always been super cheap to pick up in a sale, like every other weekend. Yeah, it's really cool to just be like, hey, pay what, £3 for a Blood Bowl tutorial. Yeah.
And it feels very much like Blood Bowl 2 felt in terms of the AI, the way it plays. It's a good entry thing. It's great. The rules are up to date and they're current for what we've seen in there. So it was nice to play Blood Bowl, the video game, and and not be trying to remember the old rule set. So it was good to have it in that. It's not going to win every Game of the Year award prize in any way at all, but is it Blood Bowl? Is it the best video version of Blood Bowl that we've got with the best graphics?
So should we interrupt with Milton's point here? Because we were talking about this earlier, and Trips was like, you know what? It's the best iteration of Blood Bowl 2020 on a video game, that we can play. And Milton was like, hang about, is it better than Fumble? Is it really better than Fumble? Because Fumble's got, the AI just did some questionable rushes then for no reason. Yeah, this is great stuff. Fumble is weirdly incredible, right? Like, graphics are endearing, but technically garbage, I guess. I love them because they're 32 or they're 64-bit sprites. I think they might be 64-bit sprites, which just makes me insanely happy because it's just that's how graphics should be. But having this game, the visuals of it, oh no. Rat Ogre just both down, sculled. Right, let's try and use a reroll. And failed. So both down, both down. Ugh. What a turnover. Silly. Anyway, yeah. So you've got Fumble, and Fumble's got every race, and you've got the ability to add races and to add stuff and to play full-on leagues with everybody. But the visuals of Blood Bowl 2, for example, we've streamed Fumble, right, Ben? And the views for streaming Blood Bowl 2 versus the views for streaming Fumble, just no one wants to watch Fumble. There are like a few people who love Blood Bowl. I personally don't mind watching a Fumble game if it's an interesting game, but I would, you're flicking through YouTube or Twitch or whatever, and someone's playing Blood Bowl 2. It's just easier to watch. It just looks better. There's just so much more enticing. But as a player's game, I do think Fumble is technically better. What are your thoughts on that?
I think so. Fumble's a great game. I think it's really easy to make a mistake in Fumble because of the way it is. Remembering how to throw. I mean, without a doubt, the best thing about Fumble is the sound effects.
Oh yeah.
And it is a great, simple version of it. I think for someone who knows Blood Bowl really well, Fumble is fabulous. For someone who doesn't know Blood Bowl really well, the video game is a much easier playable version of it.
Yeah, I'm gonna be somewhat controversial, and maybe it's just like a young millennial verging on Zoomer. As great as Fumble is, I would take the Cyanide games over the Many Day of the Week. For me, like the whole core of the game, where it comes from being like a miniature tabletop game and like set in Warhammer, for me, like the aesthetics they rank so highly into my reasons for playing the game. Like the aesthetic, the music, just the atmosphere of the game is really important to me, and so that's why I feel like the game, and something that Blood Bowl 3 does excellently, I think, is like from a visual and like audio point of view, superb. I just think it looks awesome. Like the graphics obviously aren't like mind-blowing. I wouldn't even say they're like next-gen graphics. I'd say they're graphics from about 2009, 2010. But like the way that they're constructed and put together in the game is really, really pleasant, and I really like that. Like the crowds are awesome. The animations are awesome. Yeah, it's just as much as like the dwarves like winding up their punches. I thought that was really fun.
So graphics wise, I love what Blood Bowl 3 have done, and now they are a bit gangly. Like they are trying to be exactly, or not exactly, but they're trying to be super close to the miniatures, which I do actually think is an excellent idea.
I think so too.
Because it ties in and it's gonna keeps it close to being on brand, I guess. Like with Games Workshop.
I'd be contrarian.
Go.
I'd be contrarian one more
with all
time.
the customization stuff of the paints and the detail. It really it feels like a GW version of BB
Yeah,
on
the paint names,
online.
aren't they? They're
Yeah.
Yeah.
GW paint names. Yeah. Sorry, I wanted to have one more contrarian point. I'm sorry, I need to, especially I'm doing proper like I haven't played the game yet. I've got loads of opinions. I do kind of wish Renegades looked a little bit more cohesive. That has the problem that the GW Renegades team has, where it's like you've got this chaos pact that are just taken from the other teams and put in the same color. And so there's no real cohesion between them in terms of their like uniforms and things.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought I saw some like chaosifications of like at least the linemen.
Well, they get mutations, right?
Yeah, but even like the faceplates, I think are slightly different.
Oh, okay. Maybe I've missed that.
But the rat ogre,
it's
the
like the
ogre, the orc, the dark
Yeah.
elf, they are all just the same sprites. And I think it's the same with OWA as well, as it probably should be, because it is a representation of the models, which are there are no models. Customization, though, I really love the bit where you choose your own team. Like, you choose your own team stuff. In fact, let's bin that game off. Let's bring up the customization options, because actually I thought that was awesome. Like, I've chosen paint schemes for all my guys. You get some logos, not a huge amount of logos. You do get access to some logos, but you did in Blood Bowl 2 as well. But like Trip said, the fact that the paint schemes are the same, it just reminds me of, is it Dawn of War, Ben, where you could paint your Space Marines?
Yeah.
So good.
That was so much fun. Right, okay, here we go. We're going to create a new team, and we're going to create a let's go with OWA, because I haven't used OWA yet on this one. Team name, Danger Zone. Okay, yay, the team's good. All right, wicked. So you get template, you get manual. I'm going to go with manual to build my team, because I think it's important. But you can go to customization, and you've got jerseys, coaches, there's dice, there's balls, mottos, names, coaches. You can there is no customization in there at the moment for dice, but the fact is you are going to be able to customize your dice, which I think is very important to some coaches. Milton, looking at you here. All right, so I've got my OWA dwarf. You can scroll between the players. We've got a halfling, we've got a human blitzer, human catcher. Right, so you've got palette. There's 3 colors, and yeah, they are Games Workshop paints. I don't think they marry up all that well. Like Mephiston Red is basically orange. Oh no, it's not. It just looks orange on the cot. That's quite cool, actually. Second color, you've got Blue Horror. Third color, Corn Red, White Scar. Yeah, it's really cool. And then you've got patterns on here as well. So there's stripes, there's dots, chevrons, diamonds, something called lustria. Wow, diamonds and cross. There's basically, Ben, when you were in B&Q, did you go down like the bathroom tile section?
I didn't, but I know of them.
Okay, well, basically that's on here. Interlace. Jeez. Oh, wow, that's incredibly good. All right, I didn't even bother looking at most of this. I just went with stripes. Actually, there's like checker patterns, plaid patterns, diamonds. There's a moldy pattern. They've done a really good job on the customization, which I think is awesome. And then you've got the emblems as well, where you can choose your little logo, and it is represented on a guy. There's only one type of dice at the moment, but that's pretty good. Do we expect to see like in-app purchases for dice and stuff like that? Do you think it will be like DLC expansions, or?
I could see them doing that. I reckon what it might be is like you buy this like goblin expansion and they put dice in it to make the price seem a little bit more like, stretch out a bit. That might be what happens. Like when you buy a team pack, you get a dice pack with it.
Yeah,
I mean, that makes sense, I guess. Right.
Yeah, I mean, nearly every game's got some kind of add-on and decel. I wouldn't be surprised if it's customization or DLC, so it's not game sort of. It's not blocking the game or advancing the game by not using it, but it will be in there to get some extra coins.
I mean, you've been playing Diablo more recently, haven't you, Trips?
Yeah.
You probably know about the coins.
Right, I don't have enough dudes, so let's buy an extra lineman, and then let's buy 2 rerolls because I think I've got enough cash for that. Have I got enough cash for that? Yeah, why not? All right, sweet. Now, one thing I haven't figured out, Trips, is like getting to get like a team portrait like in Blood Bowl 2.
Yeah, I've not found that one. It's either not in the game yet or I've not found it yet.
Yeah, because that would be really good, especially because you're customizing your whole team.
Yeah,
It would be really useful to be able to do that. But again, like you say, we might just be missing something there. But I'm not too fussed. I there's some bits sure that aren't as good. The AI is going to be garbage forever. That's fine. It's always going to be garbage. You don't play it for that. The online mode, I played a bunch of online games, and actually I had some connectivity issues. In fact, I was recording a game and it just kicked me out like halfway through the game. It was on day one, and I think it's probably just like everybody was online, and I don't know, but I was halfway through a game and I just got absolutely binned off. And then when I tried to reconnect, it wouldn't let me, and then it just wouldn't let me reconnect to the game at all. So there's some issues with that, but that's just part of being the beta. If this was released now, would you buy it, Trips? As is.
yes, yeah, yeah. I'd rather buy it on sale now, but that's not going to happen. Is it good enough to play? Yes. Is it perfect? No. But will it fill that free time, and does it scratch an itch? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, BT, you haven't had enough time to play with it. You should download it and give it a go, because it's great fun to just binge some games with nobility, even if it's just against the AI, because actually the skill up system works really well. The way it kind of separates it so you know who can take a random, who can take this. And I really love that you can play against your own teams as AI. So right now I'm playing with OWA team against Renegades. So for us
cool.
on the channel, this is going to be really good, assuming the AI gets ticked up a little bit, for kind of being like, hey, here's a matchup. We're playing this team versus this team. These are the kind of situations. This is good. There's a lot of cool stuff in there. And I don't know, the graphics are not perfect, but it does look better than Blood Bowl 2. And personally, I think Blood Bowl 2 is good enough for representing a board game. Like,
Yeah.
my teams on Blood Bowl 2 look much better than my teams in real life. So I'm on board with that. So some strengths of the game. The customization's good. The fact we got extra teams is good. The dice, the dice are back. Oh, because they're block dice. Right, yeah. I turned my dice off, Trips. I don't know if you did that in the end.
No, I left them on. I think the one thing that wound me up slightly with the dice rolls is that often you got the animation with the result after the dice, before the dice rolls. So you got to see the guy getting casualtied, and then you saw the dice rolls afterwards. I was like,
Confusing as heck. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
It was seriously confusing. That's why I turned the dice off. I was like, I don't understand what's going on here. Oh man, the Minotaur knocked my tree down now, and my tree's going to fail to stand up, isn't it? Yeah, because it rolled a flipping 1. Classic OWA, Trips. Do I want to use a reroll for that? No, I don't think so. We'll just take the 1. Yeah, no, love it. You know what? I'm super excited to see what we get in the way of being able to make online leagues and being able to run tournaments. And that brings me to the last point I wanted to talk about, which was about the different formats this is coming in. So this is PC, the PC beta, but it's coming out on the Nintendo Switch. Ben, did you have any thoughts about the Nintendo Switch?
I did. So I am really excited for this. As in, it's really good to have it on Switch. I think any time you can release a game, especially like this, on a platform that's like, handheld, you can play it in bed. Awesome. I have concerns about performance. I haven't really seen many issues with performance on PC, but I do know Cyanide they don't make the most optimized games. They made a Call of Cthulhu game which ran really badly, even on like PS4 when that came out. So that's the concern I have. If it runs really well, no qualms at all. I'll even take 30 frames per second on Switch because I understand you've got performance limitations, and for a game as slow as Blood Bowl, that's totally fine.
Yeah.
So it's not like I'm expecting, buttery smooth 60 FPS. Totally understand, but
You and your blooming
I'm
60
scared it's going to be like,
FPS.
no, I'm just scared it's going to be like 15, and that would just be unplayable.
Yeah, I
So-
mean, the Switch is built for turn-based stuff, right?
Yeah,
So from that point of view, I don't think I'm really excited about it being on the Switch. I played it on the DS and it was kind of garbage. So I think there
Well,
is
it came out on DS. Didn't it?
yeah, it was not the best. The iPad version was actually better than the DS version, which I think is potentially what you're saying. And there's definitely concerns there, and it also links into the fact that what was it they said about cross-platform trips?
So I think originally they said it was coming to cross-platform, and then they quickly corrected it and to say we hadn't had that confirmed, and that tweet has now been deleted. So I think it's fair to say it's coming to multi-platform and is highly unlikely to have cross-play.
How do you guys feel about that? Because we didn't really play a lot of Blood Bowl 2. I think we kind of got into Blood Bowl in a big way. Well, it was really kind of the end of 2016 kind of Blood Bowl, and then the dawn of 2020 was when we kind of, that was our peak, like our unearthing. So playing Blood Bowl 2 was kind of like, this is like the wrong rules now. Like my gutter runner is my best thrower, and I'm trying to not do that anymore. Which is oh, can I get a surf? No, I can't get a surf, but I can get a nice blitz with my trolls there. And having that cross-platform dream would have been amazing, but when we came in, kind of went big in Blood Bowl 2, it was what is going on? Why are my dice just floating in the air? What does that mean? Go. Huh, weird. Trips, we played it on PC. Sax, we played it on PlayStation, and I don't think it was cross-platform. No. And it was a bit of a nuisance, but it was not the be-all and end-all. And I don't think that's going to be an issue. I think it's kind of what's expected.
I think it's the kind of thing that we probably all would like to have it, and it would be easier to try and arrange tournaments and do that. But if you're looking to play it with a few friends, buy it on the same format as a few friends.
Yeah.
If you're looking to play against the AI, that doesn't really make any difference at all. You're going to be able to get it on whatever console, platform, device you have.
Yeah, I think that's pretty fair to say. Right, guys, Blood Bowl 3, is there anything we've missed from just the beta? Now, it is just the beta. Like, we don't know what else is going to happen. We don't know how much is going to be in the game.
Yeah. The only thing we're missing is when it's coming out. It's still 2022 is release. Hoping that the feedback and what they've seen is good, that that is still confirmed as 2022, and in a few weeks' time that starts to have a date on it.
What do you think the earliest date is on this?
I think September now, and when we were in middle of June, so a month to review, finalize. You're talking then a marketing run up to it. I think end of September probably.
Oof, that orc just badly hurt my Dark Elf. Oh, no.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable.
Yeah, that would be sweet. That would be absolutely brilliant. I'd be really up for that. I'd be really excited for that. And I can't wait to get more teams on the go. And it is going to feel a little weird not having the actual, like, gamut of teams to play. But do you know what? We've been through it. Like, Blood Bowl 2 didn't have all the races, did it? So it's not really a massive issue. I am just excited to play a lot of Blood Bowl. And
that's going to be the best thing. You get some games in, have some fun, and see what we can do with it.
Boom, powed him down. Magical. Right, I think it's time I turned off Blood Bowl 3, and then we talked about Blood Bowl Tabletop. thanks very much for watching. We really appreciate your support. If you want to help support the channel even further, please like and subscribe, or come join us on our Patreon. We have early access to content. We get loads of feedback from you guys, and we try and do competitions as much as we can. Or you can get yourself some Bonehead Podcast merch on our Spreadshirt site. So if you want to support a team, especially for the Bonehead Championship, you can pick up a shirt, a mug, things like that. It all helps support the channel, and we really appreciate it. Anyway, links below. Thank you very much. Happy blocking.